events at some point today. I would love to see those kiddos in the Brandt house rocking their Blackhawks, Cubs, Bears gear. It's a family weekend, guys, even virtually. At G McVay with your thoughts, Kyle Brandt, Nate Burleson, Schrager, and myself. Let's do this thing, guys. Time for the lead block.
Lead block.
Lead block. Lead block.
I wish I was on the West Coast, so that's where we're going to start this hour with Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald. He doesn't look like he's taking a step back in quarantine. Oh, no. He posted these photos on his IG account showing he is in prime time playing shape. He also posted this video. Quarterbacks beware. Whoa. He's so scary. He spoke to the media yesterday, guys, and our Steve Weish started out by asking Donald about, the elephant in the room.
I gotta ask you about the background, man. Is that a constant?
I just got to show y'all I'm still working. I know that's a recent. Just showing y'all I'm still working and I'm still grinding. I got to show my progress. I did this 2 years in a row to the point where I wasn't there, and I'm still training, still working, keeping myself in great shape. And this time, the only thing different is I'm getting an install. I'm getting to actually ask the coach questions, and overall, I think I'll be ready. I know we'll be ready. Just the way we going about it as far as off the field and mental things, but it just got to make sure guys is keeping their body right and keeping themselves in shape.
I need that to become one of those viral sensations where everybody takes a picture like that in front of a picture like that. Okay, taking a look at the additions and losses for the Rams. Losses on offense, that's going to put a little bit more pressure on Aaron Donald and the whole defense in 2020. Nate, you said that you played on teams where coaches pointed right to one side of the ball and said, yo, it's on you. Go win us this game. So, Sean McVay is known to be this offensive wizard, guru, whiz kid. Come training camp, is he going to point straight to the defense and say, yo, it's on you, win this game?
I don't think it's ever going to be that from McVay because he has too much pride in his own offensive wizardry and the guys that he works with on the offensive side of the ball. But I could tell you, McVay is super excited right now. I spoke to him recently, and it's about the players, but he has been matched on the defensive side of the ball, both intellectually and with energy, from their new defensive coordinator, who might be the secret weapon in the NFC West this year. Guys, you know who that is? Not Khalil Mack. The guy talking with him with the Surface in his hand. That is Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley, 37 years old, who followed Vic Fangio from Chicago to Denver, and now is leaving Denver to be the new defensive coordinator and the young man who is filling in for Wade Phillips on the Rams coaching staff. That's Brandon Staley, new DC, 37. Look at his history. There's a resume there. Of course, he's one of the John Carroll guys. There's a long tradition of John Carroll coaches, whether it be McDaniels or any of those guys before him. But this might be the secret weapon for the Rams. Staley brings energy, he brings youth, he brings enthusiasm. And whereas Wade Phillips was a fantastic defensive coordinator, and if you watched that Super Bowl 2 years ago, it was the offense that dropped the ball, not the defense. The defense played lights out against Brady. It was time to move on. And this offseason, Brandon Staley is challenging McVay. He's pushing back on McVay. McVay's 34 years old. Staley's 37 years old. Together, they're hoping their youthful energy and optimism can revitalize this Rams franchise. Because guess what? Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and a bunch of those players are still really, really good and still just in their prime, ready to prime on the rest of the NFC West.
That's right. These guys are young and they're hungry, and I can appreciate coaches that are young and hungry because they can identify with their team. Now, when it comes to Sean McVay walking into his meetings and pointing to the defense, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case because, like Peter said, he's so good at what he does as a coach. He's so good at drawing up plays. So him having that much confidence in himself, like he knows that if the team runs the offense the way that he game plans it out to be, they can put up 30, 35, 40. I mean, from what we've seen in Sean McVay's short stint as a head coach so far in his career, he can put up big numbers. So instead of walking into a defensive room or walking into a team meeting and pointing to the defense, I think he's pointing to a picture of the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. He's pointing to Kansas City and saying, guys, we can be that. Yeah, we can put up that many points per game. And not only can we put up that many points per game, forget about the parallels offensively. Let's do what they did on defense. Let's make sure the guys that we brought in, the guys that we draft, can make the same type of jump that the Kansas City Chiefs defense did. All of a sudden, we went from every other week somebody mentioning how bad the KC defense is to all of a sudden saying, wow, did the KC defense pretty much just hold down this game? Did the KC defense pretty much sealed the Super Bowl win? And I think that's what the narrative has to be. There has to be a shift, which means the defensive pressure is going to be just as strong as the offensive pressure to go out there, compete, and be productive.
Yeah, I'm just pointed at Aaron Donald sitting here. He's a Martian. Remember defensive tackles? Keith Traylor, Tony Siragusa? They don't look like that. And yet, I think the answer is no. Of course, McVay's not going to point at the defense and say, you take over. This is going to be McVay's finest hour. I think that's how he looks at it. This is going to be McVay's greatest coaching accomplishment. For all Shanahan did last year, I really think Shanahan drew a lot of respect and a lot of eyeballs when he was putting up points with Nick Mullins and Jeff Wilson Jr. a couple years ago. Look, you got Gurley, you got Brandon Cooks, you got some great, you can put up some points. But now that it's this offense for Sean, this is like his chopped basket. It's like, good luck making a meal out of this. If you can do this, you're a chef. He opens the basket, and my guy Ted Allen would say, in your basket, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Higbee, Malcolm Brown, and Greg Dortch. Time starts now. Good luck whipping that together. I think he has the talent and the acumen to do it. I expect a lot of shots of Sean McVay sitting on the Gatorade cooler on the sideline while his defense is on the field, because this is not prime rib, escargot, and beluga that he's been dealt with. It's some, ingredients maybe you get at the 99-cent store, but I still think he can make them taste good, and I think this is going to be his greatest accomplishment this year.
Yeah, I love that you're saying that. This coaching staff is going to be tested, I think, more than ever this year. We're looking at that defense. All respect to Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, the Martian, as Kyle is calling him. But is this a defense that can carry a team? Look at their losses, you guys. These aren't the days of Aqib Talib or Peters, Weddle, Sue, Corey Littleton, who was a Pro Bowler, Dante Fowler, all gone. They have sacrificed a ton to pay guys like Goff and Cooks when they did, and Gurley, especially when they did. And now they're sort of paying the price for that. So it's very interesting to see. I think that coaching staff, maybe more than any other one in the NFL, has it all on them this offseason. I will forever be playing the role of the Rams skeptic here on the show. Prove me wrong, Rams. And they don't have the only good defense in the NFL, guys. Take a listen to how confident Steelers linebacker TJ Watt is about what they have going on in Pittsburgh.
We were a very young team last year defensively, specifically, and we're just going to continue to gel together. And, this is Blitzburg, man. We send the heat a lot. We're very comfortable with it. I don't see us shying away from it at all. We're very good in our disguises, and as we grow together, we're only going to get better.
Okay.
I love Blitzburg. We all do. Kyle, which defense are you most hyped to see? Who is must-see defensive television this year?
It's going to be the Chicago Bears, and let me tell you why. I know they underwhelmed last year. There's a big difference going on right now. Right now, the Bears had the most under-the-radar signing in Robert Quinn to play on the other side of Khalil Mack. Last year, they had the most underrated injury in Akeem Hicks. Their defensive line is going to be the best in football. Trevathan and Roquan are going to snot bubble everything over the middle. And guys, if you're looking for some sort of X factor, this is kind of an inside thing. I was at the Bears facility a couple of months ago. It was right before this whole quarantine life started. It was actually the day after the NCAA tournament was canceled. They have a new facility that if every Bears fan, I just wish they could see it, because you leave this facility and be like, well, they're going to win every Super Bowl for the rest of time. It's the most amazing thing of all time. And there's even what I would call like a Project X, which I don't even know if I can actually talk about, but they have incorporated the future to prepare their defense. Let's just say, Peter, I'm going to leave it vague, but my hair was so blown back by this. They have taken virtual reality and used it to make them the defense of the future. It's come a long way since the Lawnmower Man. If you could see this project, you're going to be like, well, they're the best defense in the league. I'm telling you right now. Yeah.
Well, I know Chuck Pagano is a defensive coordinator, and Chuck hit me up last week and told me to take the Michael Jordan-themed Peloton ride with him because he's that much intense and he's ready to go. So there's intensity there, we know. I'm looking at the Ravens, and I'm looking at Baltimore because Last year when the offense couldn't get it done against the Titans, the Ravens defense did keep them in the game. It's an underrated unit, and they added so much in the draft and free agency. You add Calais Campbell to one of the best defensive fronts in all of football, and you suddenly have an absolute monster who can be the leader in the room. If anything was missing since Ray Lewis and Ed Reed left, and when C.J. Mosley went to the Jets, it was to have that veteran leader talk to the rest of the guys and say, let's elevate things when we need it most. Campbell's a beast. And then in the first round, they don't have to trade up. They don't make any major moves. And they get, for my buck, the best linebacker in the draft, Patrick Queen, who is going to roam the middle of M&T Bank Stadium like